Guys, let's get started. Reminders again, we're on week 14. Next week is week 15. You should have we're going to have one final lecture on Monday. And then after that on Wednesday, I'm just going to give you that time to work on the term project, come in, sit with your teammates and kind of just all, walk around and just kind of look at what you have so far and give you some feedback. Remember, you're working on projects A and B. Are there any questions about that? No, all right. Great. And then after that, the following week is presentations. So essentially, we're done with the semester. And after that is, of course, finals. Still have final exams. All right. Today, I'm just going to do some last, as I said, miscellaneous things. I'm going to continue with some of the bash examples. If you remember, we had done some bash scripting. So I'm going to tie in what we saw on Monday, which was grep and awk in an example. We're going to work through it. Pretty interesting one. Should be a fun one to work through. And then I believe I still have from the SNMP lab, the PyScript examples. So we can work through some of those and just go through some final scripts. So the theme today will be just scripting and going through some of them. Okay. Yeah, and that's the question. That's the schedule for today. Let's look at Brightspace real quick. I think we still have one Wireshark assignment, right, that we hadn't done. So let's take a look at that. So we've done all of this. Wireshark reading one, I believe, done that one. Hadoop, of course. Wireshark reading two has been assigned. Yeah. Okay, bash scripting. We're gonna do, this is the link for the code, so the scripts are still here. So I just did about half of them the last time, so this time I'll do the other half. And now that we've looked at grep and awk, we can combine more things. SNMP, I have some scripts for this one. So just remind me before the end of class, but I do have it in my notes here. To do that, SNMP and web, this is just a more advanced SNMP. You can read that if you'd like. Essentially, it's code if in case you wanted to build your own cacti, right? Instead of using the Linux cacti, you can build your own. And the information is here, but we'll skip this one. It's the semester. Let's see, Wireshark reading 3. I assigned it as well. So it seems like I've assigned, I think, all the Wiresharks. Okay. Grep and awk, that's the topic that we looked at today. And so today I'll continue with that a little bit and add bash to it. Set UID, I've covered this topic already. So that was the lecture on Monday. Make sure you look at that. Oh, there is one more, Wireshark chapter 7. Okay, that's what I thought. Perfect. So this will be your homework assignment for this week. Another easy one. Just read through this document. It's kind of tutorial style, load the PCAPs, and then write a one-page summary, okay? So that'll be your assignment. These are nice ones. So I'll put it here around grep and awk. And we've covered set UID. So remember, set UID will be on. But there's fine. So this, I guess, is chapter 7 of that. Page. And then all we have left, just kind of look, case Aurora, Docker, file system analysis, which I've already assigned this. Remember, this is your bonus lab if you choose to do it. I might lecture on this a little bit on Monday and, lecture a little bit on Docker, case Aurora, and just to wrap up the semester, okay? So final loose ends. But let's take a look at the homework. So click on the PDF as usual. Right, and you can see, so you have to read through it. Common upper layer protocols is the focus. So it'll go over a lot of concepts, THP, things like that. And, there will be some PCAP files that you need to load. And Right. So just go through that one as well and write a one-page summary. All right. So let me add the link. Otherwise, if you can see, these homework assignments are kind of easier, right? And that's because now you do have two projects that you should be working on, the Hadoop one and your other configuring some kind of a Linux service, right? So you should be devoting most of your time to that, but we have some easy points here with this assignment. So I'm just going to say chapter 7, homework. So it's Wireshark, chapter 7. Okay. So this will be due. There's the 6th, yeah, the 23rd. This is essentially your last homework assignment. Okay. Not counting the bonus points assignment if you want to do that. So last homework, complete a one-page summary of the attached PDF Wireshark reading. Okay. And I'm going to open this now. Start date. It'll stay open until doing the 23rd. It'll stay open until the 26th. There you go. Yep. All right. Any questions on this assignment? Nope. All right. Clear. All right. Perfect. So that's assigned. And then I guess for the term projects, I don't know if I've created the links yet, so I might as well do that as well. Given that we're getting close to the end. So as you know, we've talked about the projects already. Those I usually put at the top here under project and surveys. So, already, okay. Looks like I already created this. Right? So then this is due May 2nd. Yeah, it's like the Thursday or Wednesday before finals. Got it? Perfect. All right. So let's proceed then. So as I said today, we're gonna fire up the VM, and we were discussing on Monday. We covered set UID, and then we were discussing grep and awk, right, and how to play with that. And there's a lot of other commands like find and things like that. Plus, as you know, you've done bash already, so you've had an introduction to bash. So I kind of have this problem that it's kind of a not long but few lines of bash scripting code, and we're going to combine all of it together, and it's very nice with ping, right? So we're going to try to build some kind of a tool with ping. So let's go ahead and start the virtual machine. So I'm going to go to here, VM virtual box. All right, 2004. Okay, so let's start it. Okay, and the script should be on the GitHub as usual. So remember, you can go to bash scripting, click on code, and we're gonna get on do this one, get average ping time sh. All right, so we're gonna talk about it briefly, and then we're going to try to implement it. second. All right, so let's log in. Okay, so let's open up a terminal. So this is one of those scripts where we're going to combine like a lot of things that we've done this semester, the command prompt pipeline, bash scripting, commands, etc., to try to achieve a task. All right, all in bash in this case. I'm going to go ahead and hit ls-l cd desktop, ls-l cd its 372 spring 2025 clear ls-l. All right, so we have a folder called bash scripts. So I'm going to navigate into that. Bash scripts. Bash L. All right. And I'm going to just create a new script. I'm going to call it get average ping time .sa. So I was looking this morning at all the scripts that I was going to do today, and this one just jumped at. Right? So it's like a fun one. And so, yeah, so it might be interesting. All right. So essentially, the idea is we're going to use ping. You know, this is a very powerful tool, networking tool, and then collect some of the data and then process it. Right? With the tools that we have, we're not using Python or anything. We're just using the native Bash scripting language of Linux. All right, so I'm going to have the shebang. That's going to be bin bash. So getting the average ping time, that is the goal. Getting the average ping time, okay, with bash. So one of the things we need is we need, you know, the program, obviously ping. We know that that is in the bin folder. So let's do underscore ping and then equal double quotes bin / ping, right? And we may need to use bash for this one or dash, we'll see. Then we also define another parameter, which is going to be the domain. So that means that thing that we're trying to ping is going to be 8.8.8. So we're going to need obviously internet access for this one. That's, you know, Google's DNS server. So let's confirm that we have the machine configured properly. Okay, so probably need to switch it then to NAT or something. Yeah, it's right. So go to devices, network. We only need one VM for today. Stay with pardon? Yeah, it should ping, yeah. I think I previous lab I needed two VMs for some reason. Oops. That. Right, click OK. Right, we're gonna give it a second. Then I may need to set this automatic. We'll turn it off, turn back on. Okay, so that means we probably have internet now, and we do. All right, so that's important. Is that the code? Yeah, I'm going back to the code. I just needed to get this. All right, so ls-l. All right, so now we can go back to the script, get average ping. So I was simply defining, we're using bash. You know, the task is getting the average ping time. Ping just means the program that I want to use, which we've talked about already on Monday. It's just a file, an executable file, right? Another script. And then we use an environment variable to find these. The domain is now 8.8.8, and we know that we can access it. So now we're going to construct using the command pipeline and grep and awk and cut and various other tools, right? We're going to use all of this to try to calculate this average in pure bash, right? Which is something that, you know, after all, everything that we've done all semester, you should be able to understand, right? No one is saying that you should know how to build this from scratch, but you should understand it that you, if you look this up online, probably ChatGPT can help you to write these nowadays easily. So yeah. But anyway, the point is that you have tools, right, that you can figure out, and what you want is the information. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So we need some variable to hold pings. So let's call it all ping vals. All right. Then we need to run the ping program. So we need to do a command. So I'm going to start the command with $ parentheses, parentheses. Okay. Then in here, I'm going to call the ping command. So $ curly bracket underscore ping, just like that. Then probably a space -c -4, which I believe means is the count of pings that you want to collect. So in this case, it should be 4 pings that you're collecting. Okay. And then we need to tell it what we're pinging. So that's going to be $ curly bracket, domain, our variable domain, right? So essentially this means ping -c4 8.8.8. But I'm just writing it in the bash language, which, as you know, is not exactly forgiving, but it allows us to, you know, write it as we would write it mostly in the terminal. And then from there, we do a pipe. Do you see that? So we pipe into something. Okay. So let's go ahead and first, without the pipe, let's just run this one, right? So I'm going to uh, echo this command and let's see what happens. So I'm going to do echo, double quote, $, all ping values. Everyone with me? So we're going to try this out and see what happens, and then we're going to check, make sure we don't have any syntax errors. Let's run this with bash. You guys think? Do you think it worked or not? I would say it worked, right? Because we ping 8.8, we got 4, right? And so now what we want to do is, remember grep and awk on Monday, right? So what did we do? We would take this data through the command prompt, the command pipeline, and then we would grep it, awk it, but also some other commands that we can play with. And at the end of the day, you want to answer the question, what is the average ping time, right? So think about it. Think about the power of these things, right? So people ask you these questions, and you can easily, in Python or this language or whatever language, answer all of those. So again, this is not about you would master these things after many months of writing these scripts constantly, but this is just to show you what you can do, and if you're inclined to do this, pursue it. All right, so the next thing is I want to grab something here. So what do we have? We have so we got grab. So we do have, if you look, do you see that, guys, down here? It says RTT min, average, max, and deviation, I assume. So 18. So the average is probably 64. Do you guys see that? It is also probably the average of these 4, right? So if you average these 4 values, that's probably 64. Please do the math if you want. But really, it's this value, which is that value. Okay? Everyone with me? So then that's what we want to try now. So let's go back to our script. Okay? So we can do, what do we do next? So now, as you have learned, that output can be piped, right? This can be piped into the next step in the command prompt approach. And now we can use grep RTT. You see that? How great that is, right? And we have now RTT. So, oops, let's go ahead and try that one and see what happens now. Right, and as you can see, we've managed to grab the line that contains RTT, right? So now we need to figure out the next step, which is to awk one of these columns, right? So let's see if we can't figure out which column it is. So it might be 0 or 1, 2, 3, 4. Could be 4. So we have to play with it. So let's go ahead. Back to the script. Now, after grep, I'm going to pipe it into awk, which is the command that we looked at on Monday, right? And we're going to say single quote, curly bracket, print, and then number 4, right? So see if we get that set of parameters from the record so that we can further access it. Okay, so, and all of it is being stored in that variable all ping vals, which makes it convenient because that can be further processed in a later step. So let's try this one. I'm not going to delete this output here because I want to compare it. Okay. And as you can see, it's given me these values, 15, 15, 16, 05, which this is, I guess it was faster this time around. But yeah, it's giving me 15, 16, 18, 08. Do you guys see that? All right. So now we want, I suppose, the average. Okay. We'll explore that. So now we need to take those values and process them a little bit more. So let's go back into Nano. Let's create another variable since that command prompt is getting long just to try something. So I'm going to call it other res. Okay, other res. And then we're going to do $, parentheses, parentheses. I'm going to echo what I have in old ping vals. So I'm going to do echo, double quote, $, all ping vals. Okay. And that should just give me the data. So let's try that. Well, and also I need to echo, I guess. Other way. Echo other res, just like that. Yeah, so just to see what we get. And yeah, it's the same output, so that's good. So now we just need to process it. So here in other res now, we are going to pipe that into the next step, where we're going to use a function called cut. Okay, so this is another function. So let's do cut dash D on what is that, /. So let's see what happens. Okay, so now I'm going to run it. Okay. Maybe I needed to provide the input. Echo type cut. Yeah, so that works. So I guess I didn't provide the input to it. And so now it cut the value here. Let's try another one. So let's play with that idea a little bit. So that gave me the second one. Let's change this to the third one. So I guess what it is it cuts it, but then you have to choose something. Okay. Yeah, so in this case, 16, it gave us 16. But I believe the average is actually 15. So we're almost there then. Let's just change the script to back again to, let's say, 2. And there you have it. So that way you can pick the value. So now we can just combine everything together. So we can create our final script ping average, which is going to be $, open parentheses, close parentheses, then $, underscore ping, and this is curly bracket ping, and then after the curly bracket space dash C 4, then $, curly bracket domain, and then we pipe this into grep RTT, pipe into awk, single quote, print 4, pipe cut dash E / dash F, what was it, 2. And that's it. So now we can just run that, do an echo, and then $ ping average, and that's it. So this is how you can use, for sysadmin, cybersecurity, whatever it is, you can create very powerful scripts that actually can collect the data and then give you results about it. Awk is extremely powerful, so you can do other tasks as well. Let's just run it one last time, make sure it works. Yeah, and there it is. That last one worked, actually. Oh, sorry. I have this is not print average, it's ping. Sorry about that. Ping average and then ping average. There you go. All right, so let's try. There you go. So it did it twice, right? But that's it. And so this is the final answer. I did it in parts initially, but this last one does the whole thing in one line. Any questions on this one? So this is a really good example, I think, of everything using Bash, using grep and awk, using other tools like cut, etc., and the command prompt to really, you know, establish the power of Linux, that you in fact do have this very powerful scripting language that you can take advantage of. All right. Okay, so yeah, so that concludes that example. The other examples in the bash scripts section, I thought they were, pretty simple things. We've covered many of them. So, but this one I really wanted to do because I think it's fun and interesting. So I guess I should have done the cut example. I do have a cut example. I should have done that one first. So let's do it now. Still, it's kind of part of this one. I'm going to create a new script called cut string sh dot sh. All right, so this one, $, exclamation, bin bash. Okay, so let's take a look at how cut would work. So essentially, we cut the dash D that defines the symbol, and then we select which value we want. So that was the correct interpretation we had. So for instance, we want to cut, so we use dash D, and we're going to cut on comma before we cut on forward slash. And this just means cut by comma. And then if we want to extract, so then we do something like dash F5. So that is, it means then extract the fifth element. Like that. All right, so then, pretty similar to what we did just now. How does it work? Let's do cut dash D on comma dash F5, where the input is the following. It's going to be website, comma, domain, comma, DNS, comma, SMTP, comma, and then let's say 5005, okay, in double quotes, so we can proceed to run this one. So cut string sh, run bash, bash, and it's saying unexpected token. Oh, I think I did 4 of those. It should be 3. So I'm going to go ahead and remove 1. So that's going to be 3 here. 1, 2, 3, Control X, Y, enter. And now we run it again with bash. And there you go. So that's 505. We can repeat the exercise with 3, for instance. So if we use 3, then instead of 505, it should be DNS. So Control X, Y, enter. And there you go. So that's DNS, essentially. Okay. So that's a couple of scripts there on using everything command prompt, some of the commands, and grep. Okay. Any questions about that, guys? Make sense? All right. So we did that one. So in the next set of exercises, we're going to look at PyScript, which is something that you need for your homework assignment. So we're going to go read the document and just add the script. Okay. So let's look at the document here. Go back to Brightspace, table of contents. All right. Let's scroll down to, so we're kind of done for now with this. Let's go to SNMP, and we're going to take a look at the Word document. All right, and now we can look at the scripting part, which was here. These scripts from 35 through 39. So the scripts will run with Python. First, we need to install PySNMP. Then, yeah, so just PySNMP essentially, and then I will provide one script just to kind of illustrate, just like we did an SNMP walk, right? From the machine, we can also just query from SNMP, and the power of that is that you can develop, more customized tools with this. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. First of all, let's make sure that SNMP is still configured and working. So I can clear this now. So I'm going to do clear. I'm going to do SNMP walk. And do you guys remember the command? It was dash V2C dash, was it C, public, and then localhost 127.0.01. And there you go. So it's working fine, right? So we know it. And so we're just going to query this machine. This would work for any machine that you have permissions, the same idea. So all we have to do now is consider creating a PySNMP script. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pip install PySNMP. I probably already have it. SNMP, and hopefully this will work for you guys as well. If it doesn't, do pip install update first, and then pip install. Oh, wait a minute. You guys don't have does pip work for you guys? Pip 3, if you do pip 3, does that work for you? I forget that you guys have yeah, just try pip 3 instead. Pip will work for me, I think, but I think pip 3 also works by default on the CVM. Does it? Yeah, great. So yeah, pip 3 install SNMP. That's what you do. Yeah, so yeah, should have it already. Okay, so mine finished, and I hope yours finished as well with pip 3. Pip 3, pip install SNMP, just like that. Yeah, everyone here? All right, if that works, then what we need to do now, we're going to write a Python script um, and try to test the functionality. The first thing, the code's a little verbose, but yeah, it should work. All right, so let's check a library first of all. So I'm going to create a script. I'm going to call it uh, first ISNMP .py. Okay, and we're going to try to import something called a command generator from PySNMP. So let's see if that works. I'm going to do from PySNMP dot entity dot RFC 3413. Where's my battery's low? Okay. So RFC 3413 dot one liner import CMD gen command generator. Okay. So that's kind of, we're going to need this. So let's see if this works. I'm going to do Control X, Y, enter, and Python or Python 3. You do have a typo. Should be one liner, not on liner. Try it again. Okay, perfect. So this is what you should get. That means the library is installed and ready for use. Okay, so now this one we have to kind of build a command and then run it essentially, right? So the command will return several variables and we have to instantiate it first. So what I'm going to do is cmd_gen is a variable, and it's going to come from cmd_gen, all lowercase, dot command generator. And now we invoke something and get some results. So I'm going to do cmd gen dot get cmd. Notice, be careful with the uppercase and the lower cases, because it won't work otherwise. So cmd gen dot get cmd, open parentheses, close parentheses. We're going to have to define a few parameters, and this will return some variables, several errors, and then the actual results. So I'm going to do error indication, comma, error status, comma, error index, comma, index, comma, and something called var binds, just a variable where we actually have the results. Okay, so those are the variables. Now we need to specify the parameters, it's the community string and all that. So we're going to use cmd gen dot community data, and we're going to add to this the variable public. Okay, so that's the password, comma, as you guys know. Then the next one is going to be the IP and the port number. cmd gen dot udp transport targets. Okay, comma there. And this takes in a tuple, which is going to be the IP 205.215.117. Oh, sorry, yeah. Well, it should be the IP of the machine. So in this case, 127.0.0. Or any other machine that you have that you can access, right, as a manager. So in this case, the local host. And then the port number is going to be 161, as you guys remember that we discussed in these slides. Okay. Now let's define the variable that we want to query. So we want to define a variable from the MID, if you remember. So cmd gen dot MID variable. And you can define these by either the text description of it or by the OID. There's various ways. Here, I'm just showing you how to do that by the description. So we need to specify some parameters. So SNMP version, which I think is lowercase v2, MIB, comma, and then sys description. So sys description, DESCR, comma, and the number 0, right? Add a comma at the end. And finally, just a few parameters. Lookup names equal true. Look up names equal true, comma, and lookup values equal true. Lookup values equal true. All right, so that should be it. So that's the command, okay? Now we need to run the command. But we also want to check for errors. So we're going to have an if statement. So I'm going to do if error indication. So if error indication 1, 2, 3, 4, then print error indication. If that exists, it happened. We print it out. Elif error status 1, 2, 3, 4, print error status. Else, finally, we actually print out the results, no errors. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to be the name for name, comma, val in var binds. In var binds. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have to just print result. That's all. I'm going to do a format string percentage s equal percentage s percentage and its name, comma. All right, so hopefully that'll work. I think I'm not missing anything, so let's try this out. So system description is what I'm looking for. Let's go ahead and try it. There you go. It worked. So the system description for this machine is Linux VM, Ubuntu. We've got the OID there and everything. Any questions? So that is your PyScript example for your lab assignments. So just do this one. Play with a few of these if you'd like. But you know, that's any questions. That's really just a demonstration. Oh, yeah. But did you install it with Pip3? Did it say that it was successfully installed? You were having that problem with installation. Remember that permission thing? No errors, no something locked or anything like that. Okay. Then take a look here. I had kind of a typo where I wrote onliner instead of one-liner. Did you correct that? Yeah, yes, so it should be from snmp.entity dot rfc 3413 one liner import cmd gen all lowercase. You're having the same issue, and you guys also, and everybody is having it. All right. Great. Did anyone get it to run? To work right? Pies. Calix. Did you do SNMP or pies? Did you guys install Pi SNMP or SNMP? Both. Both? And either one work? Didn't work. Right. With us. Right. And this. Works for me. All right, so let's see. Let me end the recording here for a sec.